She said he was gay, laughed it off even. Swore I was being ridiculous for asking. But then I saw the footage and, I swear, something inside me just turned off. My name's Chris. I'm 34 years old, live in Portland, Oregon, and I fix things. For a living commercial electrician, not glamorous, not a desk job, but it pays well and keeps me moving. I like simple stuff. Coffee, black jeans, faded, music loud. I'm the guy who triple checks the stove before leaving the house, who lines up his boots by the door every night like a ritual. I guess I've always liked order, predictability. That's probably why I fell for someone like Jenna. She was chaos with a smile.
Right.
We met at a concert, some indie band I can't even remember now. She was standing on her toes to see over the crowd, wearing this ridiculous oversized hoodie and combat boots, holding a warm beer in one hand and swaying like the music had hypnotized her. She bumped into me by accident, turned around with this half apology and full smile combo. And just like that Kai was a goner, Jenna was. Magnetic. She worked in social media for a boutique. Marketing for meaning, she basically got paid to. Scroll Instagram and schedule influencer posts. Her world was all aesthetics, curated lighting, and captions with the perfect number of exclamation marks. Mine was breaker panels and voltage meters. I didn't mind. She made me feel brighter. Just by being around her, our lives slowly merged. She moved into my apartment 6 months in, and we built this little rhythm together. Sunday mornings were for grocery runs and burnt pancakes. She always put on the same Spotify playlists, some acoustic, folk pop stuff with violins and soft vocals, and danced barefoot in the kitchen while I made coffee. We shared passwords, shared a dog waffles, a rescue mutt with 2 different colored eyes, and eventually even talked about getting married. She was the kind of person who called me baby in 3 different tones. Sleepy in the morning, giggly. When she was tipsy, and soft when she wanted something, and I loved all of it. But somewhere in year 2, that softness changed. It started small, a shift in tone, less eye contact.
Oh.
The way her phone never left her side, even when she was brushing. Her teeth. She started pulling away emotionally, physically. No more dancing in the kitchen. No more random hugs when I walked through the door. I thought maybe work was stressing her out, so I gave her space. Let her come to me. She did instead. She started going out more. Work networking events, she said. Always last minute. Always dressed like she was headed to a fashion shoot. I'd stay up waiting for her, pretending to watch whatever show we were binging together. But the second she came in, the room filled with perfume and silence. I'd ask about her night. She'd smile too quickly. It was fine. One night I saw a name pop up on her phone. Marco. I asked about it casually. She laughed. He's gay, babe? I told you about him. He works with me. Total sweetheart. I let it go. I didn't even know why it stuck with me. Maybe it was the emoji. Maybe it was how quickly she had that answer ready, like it was rehearsed. Or maybe it was just the way she said babe too quickly, like a punctuation mark on a lie that night. I couldn't sleep. I lay there in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself I was imagining things.
I mean, what kind of...
Guy gets suspicious of someone she says is gay? That's textbook paranoia, right? But deep down, something was off. Could feel it. Like standing on a dock that used to be sturdy, suddenly realizing the wood is rotting beneath your feet. Once that seed was planted, couldn't unsee it. I didn't want to become that guy, the one who snoops through phones or reads into every text. Notification like a detective with a fragile ego. But I also couldn't ignore how things were changing. Jenna used to send me memes during the day. Random dumb stuffed videos of dogs sneezing, or screenshots of weird texts from her mom. Then it stopped. Just silence. Her phone would vibrate, and she'd flip it over without looking. If I walked into the room while she was texting, the screen would go black in a heartbeat. Autolock or manual, who knows? Still, I kept telling myself, maybe I'm overthinking it. Until one Friday night, she was in the shower, music blasting from her Bluetooth speaker, and her phone miraculously was charging on the nightstand. I wasn't planning to check it. I really wasn't, but then it buzzed. Marco, you still want me to come over after he leaves? My stomach dropped so fast I almost forgot how to breathe. I didn't open the message. I couldn't, it would mark it as read. Instead, I just stared at the screen until the light faded again. I sat there, frozen, listening to her hum in the shower like nothing in the world was wrong. That's when it hit me. She wasn't even trying to be careful anymore. She didn't need to. I had made it too easy for her. When she came out, wrapped in a towel, smiling like nothing had happened. I smiled back. That was the beginning of the act. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I leaned into the gaslight. I acted extra chill, cracked jokes, brought home her favorite mochi ice cream. I played dumb. Meanwhile, my brain was running 1,000 miles an hour. I started keeping track. Her calendar. Her social posts. When she left for girls' night, I logged the time. When she posted a story from a bar downtown, I screenshotted the Timist. One night, she said she was meeting a client at a gallery opening. I knew Marco would be there, so I made up an excuse about getting called for an emergency job across town and left the apartment, drove a few blocks. Then I doubled back, parked around the corner, waited. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, Marco's car pulled into our driveway, and that's when it hit me like a slap. She never expected me to question it. She thought the gay label was a perfect smokescreen. Wanted to believe it so badly that I let it work. The next day, I brought it up just lightly. Hey, Marco seems to be around a lot lately. You too tight or something? She didn't flinch. She actually laughed. He's gay, babe. Relax. You're being weird. Just like that, I was the problem. Insecure, suspicious, needy. She kissed me on the forehead and told me to stop. Overthinking everything. Then she walked out the door wearing a tight black dress she'd never worn around me not once. That night, I didn't sleep. I signed up for one of those cheap home security cameras. Hidden lens. Motion triggered. Tiny enough to tuck behind the stack of books on our TV stand. It syncs to my phone. She didn't notice it the first night. Nothing happened. The second night, I was working late when I got a ping on my phone. Motion. Detected, 8:17 p.m. I opened the app, and there he was, Marco. In our living room, not a hug, not a wave. He grabbed her waist, pulled her close, kissed her like they'd done it 1,000 times before. She laughed into his mouth. I dropped my phone. I don't even remember picking it back up. I sat there in my work van, parked behind an office complex. Staring at the screen like the pixels were lying to me, she told me he was gay. She laughed at me for even thinking otherwise. She made me question my instincts, my sanity, and now I was staring at undeniable proof. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Didn't punch the dashboard or call her screaming. I just sat there. I'm like something inside me had quietly snapped. I didn't confront her that night. I drove home like I always did. Parked in the same spot. Walked through the door with the same tired smile. Jenna was on the couch in sweatpants, scrolling through her phone like the world was still normal. She looked up, gave me a lazy hey babe, and went right back to whatever she was reading, and I smiled back. I played along, because now I had a plan. Over the next week, I upgraded the camera, added one in the hallway, one in the kitchen, all hidden in plain sight. But she didn't notice. She was too distracted, too confident I was still playing the fool. Every night, I'd review the footage. And every night, Marco came over. Sometimes for 10 minutes, sometimes for hours. Sometimes they cooked dinner together. Sometimes they kissed in the kitchen. Once he carried her into the bedroom and the door closed. I never watched past that. I didn't need to. What I needed was clarity, and now I had it. All of it. The final step. I copied the footage onto a flash drive, labeled it proof.mp4. I burned another copy onto a DVD, just in case. And then I wrote a letter handwritten, old school. Like something from a breakup scene in a movie, calm, direct, unapologetic, Jenna. I saw everything. You didn't just cheat on me, you made me new. Question myself. You lied with ease. You mocked my trust. And worst of all, you used someone else's identity as your shield. There's no screaming match coming, no keying your car, no angry texts. Just silence. I deserve better, I'm done. I signed it and slid it into a manila envelope along with the flash drive. Then I waited for the right moment. Jenna's birthday was coming up. She had a big dinner planned, some trendy downtown restaurant she insisted we splurge on every year. She invited a dozen friends, her parents, even a couple coworkers. And Marco, of course Marco, I went along with it. Got dressed, wore the blazer she liked, smiled in all the pictures. We toasted champagne. I pretended to be the perfect boyfriend. Then came dessert. She leaned in, giddy, expecting a little box. Jewelry, a promise, maybe even a ring. I handed her the envelope instead. She blinked. What's this? Your real gift, I said, keeping my voice calm. Open it. She opened it, read the letter, saw the flash drive, and her face crumbled. Like a slow-motion avalanche, the whole table went silent. Her mom leaned over to ask what was wrong, and Jenna just stood up, mouth opening and closing, like she was trying to speak but couldn't make a sound. Marco looked between us, confused, and then I said it quietly, just for her, but loud enough, that the table caught it. He's not gay, Jenna. You just thought I was stupid. Then I stood up, dropped my napkin on the table, and walked out. Didn't wait for dessert, didn't wait for yelling, just left. The doorman held the door open and gave me a nod on the way out. I nodded back like it was just another Tuesday. That was the moment I knew I'd won. Not because I embarrassed her, not because I caught her, but because I didn't become the villain she needed me to be. I stayed silent, strategic, clean. She wanted chaos. I gave her closure. The first night without her was quiet, too quiet. The apartment felt like an empty theater after the final curtain, a place where something once happened, but now only echoes remained. Her coffee mug was still in the sink. Perfume still hung faintly in the hallway. Waffles, our dog, kept pacing between the bedroom and the front door, waiting for her to come back. She didn't. I stayed on a friend's couch for a few nights. Didn't want to sleep in our bed. Didn't want to smell her shampoo on the pillow or see the framed Polaroid of us on that Ferris wheel in Seaside. But I wasn't angry, just tired. She texted me on the third day. Just one word, why? I didn't answer. She called after that 14 times. Left voicemails. The first few were confused, tearful. The rest, defensive, blaming me, claiming it wasn't what I thought, that Marco was figuring things out, that it was complicated. Complicated? No, a light switch is complicated. Betrayal is pretty damn simple. I blocked her number. She showed up once, pounding on the door. Waffles barked like he'd never seen her before. I stayed on the couch, silent, as she begged me to talk to her through the door. Eventually, she left. That was the last time I saw her in person. What followed was ... strange. I thought the hard part would be the breakup. It was what came after that truly gutted me. Mutual friends took sides. Some stayed neutral. Most didn't. Word got out. People asked questions. Marco deleted his social accounts for a bit. Jenna disappeared from Instagram, entirely her picture perfect. Curated life suddenly blank. Her boss called me a few weeks later, said he heard rumors, wanted to confirm if there was a situation involving 2 employees. I didn't confirm or deny, just said, ask Jenna. I never found out what happened at her job, but I noticed her LinkedIn changed a month later. Freelance marketing consultant. Translation, fired. I started therapy not because I was falling apart, but because I didn't want to become bitter. I needed to talk to someone who wasn't in my life. Someone who wouldn't say you're better off, or at least you found out. The therapist said something that stuck with me. You didn't lose a relationship. You lost an illusion. That hit, because that's exactly what it was. I thought we had something real. Turns out I had half a real relationship, my half. Waffles and I moved to a new place a few months later. Smaller spot with hardwood floors and way too much sun in the mornings. But it felt clean, honest, new. I painted the bedroom walls a warm green, something Jenna would have hated. Got a new couch. Got rid of the playlist she loved. Started cooking again just for me. One day I saw Marco again, randomly at a gas station. Of all places. He was filling up, wearing sunglasses, and looking like a man who hadn't slept well in weeks. I didn't plan to say anything, but he noticed me and walked over. He opened his mouth to speak. Right, I cut him off. I'm not mad at. You, I said. She lied to me. Probably lied to you too. So whatever mess you're in, now it's hers to clean up. He nodded, swallowed hard. I didn't know she told you I was gay. I nodded. Yeah, neither did I for a while. And then I got in my car and drove away. That was the last time I ever thought about Marco with anything close to anger. He wasn't my problem, she was. And now, she wasn't even that. It's been almost a year. Funny how fast things can change. And how slow healing actually feels. I'm still me. I still wake up early, still drink my coffee black, still rotate my tires before the light comes on. But something inside me, shifted. I don't rush to trust people the way I used to. Not in a bitter way, just more careful now. I listen differently. Watch more closely. I don't think about Jenna every day anymore. That's a win, I guess. But sometimes when I hear a certain song, or walk past someone with her perfume, it pulls at something. Not the love, just the memory of being lied to, of being made to feel small, invisible, crazy. That part stays longer than I expected. People always talk about closure, like it's a letter you get in the mail. But the truth is, you have to build it nail by nail. It doesn't arrive. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't explain itself. It just shows up the moment you stop looking back. That's where I live now. Not in anger, not in grief, just ... forward. I walk Waffles every morning in a new neighborhood. He's older now, grayer around the face. But he still pulls toward the same smells, still gets excited by squirrels. He didn't ask for any of this, but he stayed loyal. There's a strange peace in that. I've started dating again slowly. No rush, no expectations. It's just dinner, conversation, laughter without fear of what's hiding behind it. I don't tell the whole story, not unless they ask. And even then, I don't tell it to shock or impress. I tell it because it's part of who I was, not who I am. I used to think revenge was about making someone hurt like you hurt. But it's not. Not really. The real revenge. Living a life where they don't even get a second thought. And me. I've got peace now. No more footage. No more lies. Just the truth. Finally, in my hands. She got the apartment. She got the furniture. I got my clarity. I got my name back. I got me. And honestly, that's more than enough. If you enjoyed my story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories like this.